Welcome to Miniology, your source for all things Mini. We have a great show for you today. We have the one, the only Don Racine. Don Racine started racing in his 20s and has been a fixture of the Mini community by supplying parts for every Mini Cooper ever built. Many know Don from the racetrack. He and his family are regular fixtures at all Mini races. But first, we're going to introduce you to the general manager of Velocity Invitational, Ryan Turry. Ryan will provide a sneak peek on how to make your trip to this year's event perfect. Today we have Ryan Turry with Velocity Invitational. He's the GM.
Thanks so much for having me. This is great.
Looks like a really great event. We're kind of curious on the options.
So if you go to the website, we've got a ticketing link right there. That will take you to Tixar, which will open all the options there basically. So we've got them split up by day, so you can get a general admission pass just to come in. That gets you access basically to everything in the paddock. So you can see all the cars, watch all the racing. And then we've got some add-on stuff. We've got the Sip and Savor Pavilion, which you can get as an extra add-on, or you can buy with your ticket. You can also upgrade at the door, but that's basically we've got I think a dozen wineries, some coffee, little food bites and stuff in there. So that's all you pay whatever it is, about $75 a day. You can go in there and taste wine, taste coffee, get some food, and that's all complimentary once you upgrade to that pass. So that's really I'd say the first level of VIP. We have some VIP above that, um, driver's lounge access and some evening event access. Um, we're also doing the Mini versus Mustang race, which is Friday night. I think starting at 4:50. We've got simultaneously with that, we've got the Peterson Future of Motorsports dinner, which is across the track in the Turn 1 pavilion. So you could actually buy a ticket to that, go over there and have a drink and stand out on the lovely balcony there and watch the Mini versus Mustang race. So um, a bunch of different options for tickets on the website. If anybody has any questions on those and they can't figure it out, you can always click on the info at velocityinvitational.com, and we'll get back to you, usually within 12 hours. If not 12, then 24 hours. But we want to make sure everyone feels comfortable with all the options.
Yeah, it's on the Tixar as well right now, looking at the various options just for Friday. Is there a weekend pass as well that you're
Yep, yeah. So
showing?
if you go back out
Mm-hmm.
and you
Okay.
scroll to the right, there's weekend passes, so you can
Okay.
get a 3-day pass, which is a little better deal, and then you can also upgrade to the 3-day weekend wine, which gets you into the Sip and Savor Pavilion, which is trackside with the food and wine all weekend for an upgraded fee.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. For those not familiar with the area, what do you recommend for lodging in the Monterey area?
There's a bunch of great stuff. Depending if you want to stay in Carmel Valley, it's warmer. You can go downtown to Monterey. They've got the aquarium, a bunch of stuff for people to do and families and that sort of stuff. Carmel is its own kind of quaint little neighborhood. I would definitely say just look around because it seems like the prices are always changing, and the stuff that was reasonable last week is expensive this week, and then you're getting deals on other stuff. So I think it's outside of their tourist season, so the prices are fluctuating quite a bit. So I would
Yeah.
definitely say just try to look around online to see how to get some reasonable places. But there's a bunch of beautiful spots there,
Yeah, I'm
which is
staying
great.
in there in Pacific Grove, but I know we've stayed down there, and sometimes it could be $600 a night, and sometimes it could be $120 a night. So it just all depends.
Right, right.
It,
Yeah,
it
no, it fluctuates like
it's hard to
crazy.
see what it is.
I was
Go
gonna say,
ahead.
I don't know if you have a lot of folks come who are followers from the LA area, but now it's JSX is flying up directly from Burbank to Monterey. I think super easy.
Cool. And with this food and wine that you're bringing there to the track, can you speak to a little bit about what to expect if you are to choose that offering you're having?
Yeah, so I'd say one thing to understand is that the event is kind of built around a little bit of an upgraded experience to what you might be normally used to at a racetrack. So there will be good food, food vendors, fun local food trucks that are really great, some local wineries, and some spirits, all in the paddock that are available for purchase. So if you come, you're going to have great options regardless of where you are. Um, if you want the upgraded experience to go into the Sip and Savor Pavilion, yeah, we've got several different wineries that are well known in there. Um, Robert Hall, Bernardus. We've got a great coffee company from LA, Good Boy Bob, that's coming up, and they'll be doing coffee tastings all day, and several other vendors in that Sip and Savor Pavilion. And then it's a two-story structure and it's trackside, so you'll be able to watch all the racing right from there. It's heated, air conditioned, so it's just kind of going to be a really nice place to hang out and have some drinks and some snacks and just be able to enjoy and watch the racing.
Cool. Well, can you tell us a little about the history of the Velocity Invitational?
Yeah, so we were founded in 2018. Jeff O'Neill is the founder, and I came on right away after that, and we decided we wanted to do an event in Sonoma. So we did the first event, which was a Sonoma Speed Festival, which we got really good reviews. People seemed to really enjoy it. We had a good time putting it on. We had some pretty cool stuff. We had Lewis Hamilton's 2016 Formula One car with the Mercedes factory coming out to support it. We broke unofficially the track record at Sonoma. So that was really great fun. Obviously, with COVID, we had a pretty spectacular event planned in Sonoma for 2020, but we had to postpone, and we've now postponed several times through 2020 into early 2021. And we made a change down to Laguna because we had some date issues with what we were looking at Sonoma. So Laguna and the folks down there at the Monterey County were helpful in giving us these dates that it is a little bit late in the season, but they worked for us. They worked for some partners. We've got McLaren coming with 4 Formula One cars, so we needed to make sure they could get those cars in the country and get their team here to run them. So yeah, I think the whole deal for us is really just trying to make a great experience for fans, families, spectators, to come out and see something that they might not normally see, at a racetrack locally here. Kind of no matter what you like, if you want to see some of the latest, greatest, supercars and hypercars, if you want to see a bunch of different Formula One stuff from the 70s all the way up to 2012 or 13. We've got the Mini versus Mustang thing, which I think is going to be great. Very few times has anyone run in through the dusk at Laguna. So we've got a bunch of stuff like that, and then we've got some kind of more surprise stuff. We've got some pretty cool supercars that are coming, some new stuff from Lamborghini and Bugatti and others that they're shipping over that has never been seen in the country before. So I think it should be a really, depending on what you like, there should be something there that will give you a little bit of a surprise and be pretty fun for everyone.
Nice. We're really looking forward to it. And what about a 2022 event? I think I've heard you've already have announced dates for people who maybe just does not work into their schedule.
Yeah, we've got tentative dates back at Laguna, October 14th through 16th. So just a little over a year away. We wanted to get those dates out there, as soon as we could. So we've got some sorting out to do, but I think those will be nice dates. The weather's usually great, and give some people from around the country some time to sort out their plans and get there.
Nice, nice. I know Norm and I are real excited to go on down there and check out some of the really unique offerings that are going to be going on down there. I'm really excited to see some of the stuff from the Peterson Museum,
Mm-hmm.
the James Hetfield collection, and just, obviously Mini and Mustang's going to be a huge draw for myself, and just, checking out the wines. I know my wife's a huge fan, so of the wine
Okay.
and food area, so I'm sure she'll be checking that out, and I know where to find her.
Right, right. No, that's kind of the premise, right? Is that,
Yeah,
hopefully you can come and you can see some stuff that you're interested in, and she can come even if she doesn't absolutely love cars, and she can hang out and, in one of the various areas with wine or food, spirits, coffee, all that stuff, and enjoy just as much as you. That's what
cool.
we hope.
Absolutely. No, we're looking forward to it.
One quick question is: are you going to stick with the same kind of thing with the 2022? Are you are you going to be date sensitive as far as car and vintage types? Are you gonna move that around a little bit, or it's too early to tell?
In terms of like the race groups, you're
Well, yeah,
asking?
I mean, it'll be still vintage, correct? I mean, that's what you're looking for.
It'll still be
Um,
vintage, but we're open to ideas. To be honest, I mean, we want to make it a good show for people. So we want to, obviously the guys who have all the really big stuff, they like to race and they, like their vintage stuff. So we need to appeal to them to some degree. But I
sure.
have no problem doing something with newer stuff, and we've been looking at that. And I think the other thing is we don't want to be exclusive. We want to be inclusive, and not everyone can afford these really expensive cars. I certainly can't. So to be inclusive, to allow people like with minis or something that is a great car. Regardless, we want to try to include them. So if we can do a few kind of special groups like that, if it's newer cars or older cars or whatever, we're totally interested in looking at that. And because it's Jeff and I making the decisions. There's no committee. There's none of that. We can just decide what we want to do and do it. So open to any
Sure. Okay. Well,
ideas.
I'm not, we've been throwing out some. We've been working with some people that it's called the fastest mini in the world race, and it's held in the UK. And they're looking to expand, and they're looking to take in Japan and Canada and United States and maybe Australia. And they're looking for a place where maybe they could run a race in the U.S.
Okay.
And this is all the way from fairly stock. The ones you're going to see the racing minis, but they're fairly stock to the 800 horsepower. Absolute crazy minis that are
Hmm.
amazingly fast. They have different groups, so I'll send you some stuff on it. It's just dropping a hint because if that was of interest, these guys, I know they're reaching out trying to grow the event. It's very popular in the UK right now. So
Okay. Okay.
anyway,
Great. Yeah. Yeah. We'll look at it.
Yeah, I liked what you were saying about being, inclusive.
Yeah. No, it's really true because I think there are some folks out there who are kind of saying, "What are you guys doing? You're this exclusive event," and we're really not trying to be that. I mean, the event costs a lot to produce. So the ticket price, it's not like we could be free on the ticket price or something. We have to charge,
mhm.
and it's not cheap, but it's also not the quail at $900 or something. So and kids 15 and under are free. So a family can come and for uh, you know whatever $150 they can bring two kids or something for free, and have a really nice day. Um, or they could buy a weekend pass and hang out for the whole weekend with their kids, and there's always something to do and see. So that's kind of what we're trying to go for.
I really like that.
By
Yeah,
the way,
Brent.
yeah. By the way, the weather's looking pretty good so far. I keep an eye on that every
Good.
day. So
Good.
so
Yeah.
keep our fingers crossed. Everything turns out that way.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
wet tracks always make, some excitement as well too. So a
Oh,
little bit of
that's for
damp.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, cool. All
Great.
right. Well, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you. And Miniology will be on site live, giving out some great driver interviews and updates from the exciting Mini versus Mustang. So we're again getting real excited. It's a few weeks away, and if you have not got your tickets, be sure you get them dialed in. And again, thanks Ryan for going over that the offerings you guys have. I think you have an event that's ready for success.
Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks for the time.
All right. Hey, Norm. Would love to have you introduce our guest today. I was real happy that you were able to get hold of Don. I know he's really busy getting things ready as we are from our countdown here. We're 7 days away, 1 hour and 42 seconds from the Minis taking the track there on Thursday night. So uh, I'm stoked. So look forward to this event. So whenever you're ready there, Norm.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric. And today we have a longtime mini icon, Don Racine, with us to talk about his life in the mini world. Don is busy in his shop preparing, loading, and packing his mini cars for the Velocity Invitational at Laguna. Don Racine has become a pillar in the mini community. He is the owner of Mini Mania in Nevada City, California. Don started the business, I think, some 47 years ago back in, I think, 1974, I believe. His business is mini related in most every way: parts, custom builds, racing services, and even more. Don, tell us a little bit about Mini Mania, if you would.
Well, Mini Mania sprung up from my early years when I started racing a Mini. My first Mini was bought exactly 50 years ago this year. And I was struggling for parts at those days. That was in 1971. And a couple of years later, I started importing parts for myself. And as in the Bay Area, and the various club members kept asking me to bring in more and more parts, and it became a business. That's how it all started. Started in my garage.
Well, that's awesome. Now, during the years, Don has supported most every mini event, mini club, and mini race that I have ever been to. Don, you've always seen him at the Mini Meets West and as a participant and as a sponsor. Personally, Don was a big supporter of our Mini Thunder that we ran at Thunder Hill Raceway ran for about 8 years, and he always showed up with his entire crew, the Mini Racine family, and he brought his cars. He volunteered, coached, and instructed, and he served as instructor to my wife. As a matter of fact, Jessie, she loved that experience. Always talks about it, the thrill, and she recalls thinking she was going about as fast as she possibly could until Don said to her, "Faster, you can go faster." He said, "If you break something, we have parts." So not
Yep.
only a mini owner, club member, racer, organizer, and mini business owner, he's also an ambassador. Don, if you would please tell our audience how you got started in the minis. I love this story.
Well, when I was racing on the East Coast, I was quite young. I was doing racing a 356 Porsche, and we decided to move to California. I sold the Porsche in Massachusetts, where I lived at the time. Moved to California and bought another Porsche. And lo and behold, the insurance company said, "Oh, you're a kid. You're in California, and you're driving a Porsche. So we got you." And I flashbacked and remembered that when I was racing on the East Coast, the only thing that used to beat me was a little gray-haired old man in a Mini, and now I am one.
And now you're still out there beating everybody too. So they're good for
I'm,
you.
I'm still working at it. Yep, still working at it.
I think you're doing a great job. So also the story about you is your family, your wife Shirley, your son Dennis, and his wife Cindy, the daughter Julie and John, her husband Don, and of course all of the pups. You will always have a entourage there, and you're all involved in motorsports and the racing family. How does it feel to have your close family involved and supportive in the passion to race?
That was one of the big things you had asked me the other week about why I got back involved so much, and it was really a family thing. the more the family got involved, the more I got involved, and that's how we've got so many cars and so much participation. When my son decided he wanted to get back involved in it, and my daughter wanted to get involved, and my son-in-law wanted to get involved, and Shirley has been such a tremendous supporter for this effort. It became very easy to get very, very deep involved in it. And I do, a couple of years ago, I think I did 20 events in 1 year. It's my life at this point.
Well, it sure is nice. I know that I shared similar with my family. My dad raced, my mom was his crew chief, and my all my brothers raced. So having a family support system was awesome. You got to visit with everybody, and your kids were there, and your dogs were there, and everything else. So I share that feeling of goodwill. It's a wonderful thing to have your family backing you. So anyway, your involvement in the mini racing has grown in the past few years. The places you've been to has been Spa, Brands Hatch, Silverstone, Japan, Australia, and tracks across the U.S. and Canada. Why the increase in your activity in that?
Age. I'm just simply getting older, and I'm going to do everything I can when I can, as long as I can. The excitement of what I'm doing is what's driving me. The ability to travel and enjoy the people and the events, and it's just been fantastic for me.
Well, yeah, I see you. I've ran into you in Scotland while we're over there, and at IMM, I see you all over the place. It's pretty amazing. So you sure get around. so So, and one of the other things about that is your ability and your desire to reach out to the European mini drivers. You have become an ambassador in this mini community and in the mini racing. Folks like Jonathan Lewis and Endoff Owens and Rene DeVries, Nick Swift, and others. You have stirred up something where you have gotten involved with them, and they've gotten involved and interested in coming out here. It's just, I just think this is such a wonderful expansion and getting the mini community, which has already been wonderful with everybody, but now to bring the people together worldwide is another amazing feat. So I just how did you do that, and anything? How's it look in the future there?
It all started a number of years ago. I can't remember how many years ago now. When I was sitting in my office at Mini Mania, and I think I got a phone call, or maybe it was an email, I don't remember which, from a fellow in Australia that said that he would like to do a exchange to allow me to drive a car over there, and he would come over here and drive a car. And that concept, that was a phenomenal trip for me. I did a couple tracks over in Australia, and I loved the standing starts in Australia. They were great. That was my I don't. Maybe that was after the Japanese trip, but it's one of my early trips. It was the first time we did an exchange, and that sparked my idea of trying to do that more often. So I reached out to the guys in the UK. That, of course, I know lots of people in the UK. I get there a couple times a year, every year for the last 40 years. So I've had lots of good contacts over there, and I simply started the concept of trying to do an exchange, and we did indeed with Jonathan, and I drove Nick's car for a while, and Nick came over and drove one of my cars at Monterey Historics 1 year. So that's how it all got started. We just, this whole exchange thing where it's not cost effective to ship a car, but it sure is cost effective to just do an exchange. And these guys were phenomenal. Every one of them were great. So we had good opportunities there. And if COVID hadn't sat in, I'd have done it again this year, but we'll do it next year, I'm sure, with somebody.
Well, that's great. And I noticed the local, and even not just local, but the mini community is rallying behind you. And I noticed that there's a lot of volunteers coming out to help Pitt, and you've got all the people out here on the West Coast rooting for you and helping out. All these guys are ready to do anything to help you, and it's not just necessarily for you, but for the whole mini community itself. And I think that's wonderful. It's a tribute to what you've been able to do for all of us in the community.
This mini challenge thing came about. The mini Mustang thing came about as an interesting way. I decided, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, that I have all these cars and nobody's driving them. So I decided I would try to rent a car or two out. And Andrew Waite was one of the first guys that stepped up and said, I want to try this car. And he is such an unbelievable ambassador for anything he does. And before we knew it, everybody and his brother wanted to run a Mini. All his friends wanted to drive a Mini. And that word got to Ryan. And Ryan came to me one day and said, he came at one of the races, came to me one day and said, would you guys consider putting on a mini race at our event? And I suggested, well, maybe what we should do is a Mini Mustang race, because I've run those in Europe a couple of times. And as he owns a Mustang, he thought that was a great idea. And that's how this whole thing has evolved. It's a very short time since the time we first started talking about it. He originally said, if you could bring 15 or 18 cars, I'll bring 15 or 18 Mustangs. Well, I kept getting more and more response to my appeals out there to the world. And we got, at one time, we had as many as 30 cars entered, 30 Minis entered. A couple of them have had medical issues, et cetera, and haven't been able to make it. And as of this point, I think we have 26 Minis, 25 Minis, and 6 Mustangs, I think is what's entered. So it'll be a bit lopsided, but that's all the more fun for us. We're going to have lots and lots of Mini racers. We have nothing but high quality drivers in this event from a Mini standpoint. They're really, everybody stepped up, and we've got a couple of guys coming from Eastern Canada. We had a real good opportunity to bring 3 or 4 K cars out of the UK over, and timing just wasn't working for us. We were so far behind by the time we really could put this together that the guys getting shipping cars from the UK to here we had some deals worked out to get 3 cars in a container, but we just couldn't pull it all off at the last minute. So it's only going to be U.S. cars and Canadian cars so far this year. Maybe another chance. I think we could get some K cars coming over, and I think that would be a great challenge to see the K cars running against our typical vintage cars here.
Yeah, we're showing some of the
Fantastic.
cars and entries right now on screen. So looking forward to seeing like Joe Huffaker and Paul Quackenbush and some of the others out there that you see at Can-Am Challenges. This will be a really neat event.
Yeah, they're going to be some good drivers.
They got some Jim Briscoe's coming out from Toronto. I think he's hit Edmonton. We're following him across his journey across Canada and coming down on his way to Laguna Seca. So he's comfortably in Edmonton tonight, and we'll keep an eye on him for the rest of his journey.
That's good. That's good. Yes.
And also, this might be an opportune time. I've done some checking on the weather again, and the early weather forecast for Laguna Seca for that is Thursday. It'll be a high of 73, a low of 50 or 51, and plenty of sunshine and no rain. And then Friday, it's similar. It'll be a high of 75, plenty of sunshine and no rain. Saturday, 72 and 51 with plenty of sunshine and no rain. And Sunday, it'll be 74 and 52 with mainly cloudy but no rain. So that looks like about perfect weekend for spectators, for racers, for crews, and for travel. So looks like a wonderful time. Anyway, at that point, I think, Don, I would like to thank you for your time today and for joining us and everything. And we look forward to seeing you at the track next weekend.
We'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks for your time today. We did get a special partial in the mail from our friends at the fastest Mini in the world, and some really great swag that they've sent over, and really recommend, for anyone wanting to get some cool, pretty cool hats they have here. Should be fun. They have a lot of swag sitting on their site. Some nice caps. We'll be wearing these to bring a little bit of our uh, spirit from our friends over in the UK um, over to the Mini Mustang races. And again, I just want to thank Don Racine. This would not have taken place without you being such a great forward-thinking individual on this. And no, we're really excited. And I look forward to seeing you down there and your family again. So thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. So for next week, be sure and tune back in to Miniology. We'll be live at Laguna Seca and doing some great driver interviews. So again, thank you everyone for watching, and look forward to meeting everyone again at the track. So till next week, have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
See ya.